Hey, it's Maddie Mills.
And I'm Lauren, and this is
The Weekend Roundup.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Weekend Roundup. Happy Sunday. I hope you had a fabulous week. Maddie, how was your week?
My week was just fabulous. Just a fabulous week. Yeah, how was your week?
Well, I can't tell you about my week. My week was fine, but I got you Tim Hortons right before we got here.
Yes.
And I want to tell you about it. So, basically, guys, this is so embarrassing, but me and producer Brianna pulled up to Tim Hortons to get Maddie a tea because I never come over here with that one in my hand. And
Etiquette.
Because I have etiquette. They say, what's it called? I almost said charisma.
Chivalry. It's
Chival-
charisma. That's where the word riz comes from.
Charisma.
Mm-hmm. Charisma.
I did not put that together.
Yeah.
Well, how philosophical of you. Anyway,
Charisma.
I went and me and Brianna went to Tim Hortons. We pull up. I do not know Brianna has the window down as we pull up to the speaker. Brianna's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. And I'm the only one getting anything. So I'm going to speak.
Yeah.
And so as we pull up, I go as literally loud as I can because I like to do shit like this, like freak Brianna out sometimes. Y'all already know who I am. It's Topher, and so fucking loud. And Brianna is so, this stuff really freaks her out. So the fact that the window was down and I was yelling it.
Did they hear it?
Yeah, girl.
Like, they were
Brianna
on the
took her hand and put it, it went like this. It went, stop.
She thought the window was up, so she did. And the window, like, the guy was like listening.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Y'all already know who I am. And then Brianna went, stop. And I go, shit.
Shit.
And then I panicked and I ordered an everything bagel and potato wedges with Chipotle sauce. And they gave me an espresso cup filled to the brim. With Chipotle
that was
sauce.
Crazy how much sauce they gave.
And the weirdest part too was when I pulled up to the drive-thru, it was just a guy. He wasn't in uniform. He was in like
just a regular dude.
He was just a guy. He was in like a North Face puffer and like a yellow hoodie, and he was like, that'll be $8.93.
It's so weird.
So it was just like some dude holding it down in there. But anyway, the tea tastes like shit a little bit.
Maybe it's because
It was kind of end of the day.
maybe they like made it bad because you were like Topher.
Y'all already know who I am.
Like they were like, oh, we're not giving them good stuff.
No.
Give them our worst.
I feel like we are just collecting Tim Hortons stories right and left, and you know what I'm not seeing? A sponsorship.
I frequent Tim Hortons
more often than I call my
daily.
parents. Like
at least daily. I go once a day by myself, and then like people usually bring me tea over if they're coming over. Like that's not just you guys. Like I got everyone trained on that.
Y'all already know.
And then like sometimes I go for a nighttime tea too. Like it's usually like
a nighttime tea, just a nightcap.
Yeah, like a nightcap. And it basically, like I don't know why we don't have a sponsorship. Justin Bieber does.
Yeah, and he like is not as
he's
not as much
not
as
as relevant,
treasured Canadian in entertainment as we are.
I'm just confused by that.
Yeah, but so
even though the first time we talked about them, we were like pretty
guy's
much outing one of their
yeah,
their
and then
employees.
Everyone's like, I haven't
so
seen
like
him
fair.
since.
You know, I guess it makes sense.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
So guys, it's Sunday, you know the vibes, the anxiety is creeping in. I know mine sure was last Sunday when we put out the episode about my
Timbo
breakup. Sad. And thank you so much for all your lovely, kind messages. Situationships do suck, and they kill your soul. But we've all been there, and we are going to get better.
Wait, can I say something on that?
Yeah.
I was reading that Gen Z prefers situationships over relationships. According
Did you
to
read
a
it, or
study.
did you see a TikTok?
No, I read it.
Oh, wow.
I read it.
Prestigious.
Yeah. And I was like,
What did it say?
It just said, like, 44%, or I think it might have been more. I don't know the exact stat, but it was, like, a significant chunk of Gen Z would just prefer a situationship because it's, like, you can navigate what's going on without actually the pressure of having a label.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was like, I don't know if I necessarily prefer that.
Yeah, I think it's just more the culture now because there's a lot less of a pressure to get married and settle down and everything. Like, I think about how serious my parents were, like, at my age, and I'm just like, you guys, like, they were, like, a serious ass relationship at, like 20.
Well, we're it's kind of crazy. Like, we're, like, 22, 23 now. It's like, are we gonna have to get married soon?
No. No.
I don't know, just some food for thought.
Food for thought, everyone.
I don't know, did you prefer your situation?
Do I sound like I fucking preferred my relationship?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, am I in the wrong? I don't know.
No. So I know that my Sunday Scaries were particularly bad last Sunday when we put out the relationship episode on Tim. But, you know, I was feeling comforted by everyone's kind words and just the utter sheer confidence in knowing that I was right and there was absolutely nothing I did wrong. Yeah. Absolutely nothing at all. And I walked away unscathed. But all this came to a shocking halt when I took, give or take, about a 5-hour nap on Sunday afternoon. And woke up to 2 questions in the question forum. Now, the question forum, as you know, is an anonymous forum in our bio that people can send us questions in. Now, when I get a question, when I get that notification, I get a little email. It says you have 1 new Google form.
Terrifying notification.
It is both the most thrilling, exciting notification and the scariest, hollowest, like... It's going to either ruin my day. It's Ask FM.
Yeah, no. Ask FM was way more brutal than the question.
I know, but it's this. It reminds me. It's the
same
same
vibe.
rush.
Same vibe.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
So,
Ask FM. Wow.
What I wouldn't give to go back. Holy shit! Can you imagine if I had a kid and Ask FM became a thing? I would be that mom that's like, give me your fucking phone. So I wake up from this 5-hour nap. I see the question forum. I'm excited. This is either some juicy hot tea, perhaps a great review of the episode. Sometimes those happen. Those are always great. It could be, you know, like that time that somebody told us to suck their hog. You just never know.
You never know.
You're gonna get.
It's a mystery surprise bag.
So imagine my reaction when the first word is Tim? ? Not sure about the name, but I'll take it.
No, what a crazy starter. This guy is theatrical as fuck.
As fuck.
The theatrics kill
the drama. Me. The stakes.
It's the stakes. It's, like, I think, too, like, why send it to the forum? Like, he wasn't blocked, was he? Oh, he was? Okay, never mind. We'll cut that.
But, well, no, we can keep it in because what was weird about it is that right after he left, maybe like 30 minutes after he left, and I was all like, oh my god, I hate my life. I blocked him on everything because I knew I was just going to be like always checking his socials or like wanting to go to text him or something, or at least felt like maybe that would happen, and I wanted to avoid it happening because I knew it was like had to be a clean break.
Yeah.
So he was blocked on that, so went on with my night peacefully, and then the next morning when I opened my laptop, 2 texts from him came through from that night when I was sleeping. So I did block his number, but they came through. So that
classic. I used to not block, or like I would block people and then purposely make it so I could still read it on my laptop. So and then I was like, just in case.
So
they always message.
Yeah, so I think maybe like his messages weren't going through, but they were because they came through on my laptop the next day.
I mean, so I don't know.
I really enjoy the theatrics of
it's theatrical,
going through the form and respecting me as a content creator.
He said, okay,
at the end of the day,
you want me to
You want some
Provide
content? I'll give you some
content?
fucking content.
Let me just write a mysterious anonymous letter. Are we reading the whole thing?
Yeah, we'll read the whole thing, and then we can, I'll
Yeah.
revisit it upon editing.
Fair.
So, Tim. Not sure about the name, but I'll take it.
I literally love that. Okay.
The next line is my favorite. You guys are funny still. I'll give you to that. High five, Maddie.
You know what, though? We've never... I don't want to say never. Every time we talk about a guy and, we talk to them about it, they're never, they're always you know what, though? It was funny.
I'll give you that.
Well, except for the ones that we end up in, screaming matches with.
That's
and are
only
being,
one time,
dicks.
though. If you think about our actual track record,
yeah,
it's pretty good. Most
Yeah,
of
this
the
is
time,
great.
Most of the time we get, yeah, you're pretty funny.
You guys are, and so you know what?
You're so
Fuck
funny.
that person who told us that we need to be funny in order for our podcast to be under comedy on Apple Music.
It's still working.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
We are funny. My ex says so.
Our exes say so.
My ex thinks I'm funny.
Yeah.
On a t-shirt.
Such a good t-shirt
And
idea.
then he just goes on to say, I'm sorry you cried so much, blah, 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 blah.
I think you need to read it.
Okay. I'm sorry you cried so much during that 1 week. I would have gotten back to you sooner. Don't get back to me sooner at my account. Fucking take all the time you need. I'm sorry I gave you mixed signals. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking things as seriously as you were. I wasn't. I apologize because I wasn't under a spell. I did what I did. I'm really sorry.
Can we just talk about that line for a second?
I wasn't under a spell.
Whoa.
I'm literally so insulted. Are you kidding? If
I
you're not under
apologize, I
a
wasn't under a
spell
spell.
from being with me, then I don't fucking
What?
want it.
That? I feel like that's just so drum to refer
No,
to
the
it
drum?
as a spell.
I attract
I'm
dramatic
gonna
partners.
start doing that. I'm
Um,
gonna be like, no, I'm under a spell. You know who I'm under a spell by? The NSLC guy. I'm
Maddie has a crush.
under his spell. Oh, I hope he doesn't hear this. I'm just kidding.
And quick trigger warning, if you have ever been in a situationship and then they flipped it on you and they tried to explain why, this is going to be incredibly difficult for you to get through. This is going to cause physical reactions. So just hang tight.
Also, I think it's important that, just mention this. Keep in mind, he sends this in the question form where he knows both of you can see it. This is
Yeah.
just as accessible to Maddie as it is to you.
That's so
He
valid.
may as well have, publicly commented it.
Yeah. So here we go. I did like you. I liked you. I feel like I was...
Stop right there. I did like you.
I liked you.
What is
Shut
this?
the
A
fuck
soap,
up.
bro?
I feel like I was enjoying spending time with you. I enjoyed being nice to you.
Okay.
And I feel like I got caught up in the moment until things started getting serious/real to me. I got scared and started pulling away. And for this, I'm sorry. Honestly, I honestly just...
For this, I am sorry.
And for this, I am sorry. I've cried
Okay,
1,000
Jon
tears.
Snow. Jesus,
Um,
it's heavy.
But
It's heavy.
you know what? I'm actually glad that it was sent because it made me realize that I am just over this. It was just a lot. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drama. And I'm just chilling now. And so, like they say, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to go back to being single because I don't get any flowers and I'm not getting any,
that was the other thing the
compliments and
article said.
attention and all this stuff. And it's like, oh wait, I don't get any of that fucking anyways. So really, what am I missing out on here?
No, exactly. That was the other thing the article said. It was the article was dating trends of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Just researching,
You know
because
how it
we're
goes.
professionals.
Yeah.
And it was saying how people are more excited to be single. More people are more excited to be single than they ever were before. When they're in a breakup,
They're
not really mad about it.
Yeah.
They're just excited, which is crazy.
And
But I also, literally, it's crazy because when you look at the episode of my breakup too, I was saying that. I was like, I'm just excited to be single again.
yeah.
So that's crazy. That actually is a trend. Society.
Yeah,
Culture.
and the thing is too, I think the reason why I'm I'm over it is because it was putting in so much effort to get not as much effort back. And this is a great segue into a TikTok that I wanted to show everyone. about situationships and how this kind of happens. So I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to get Maddie to insert the clip. But we're going to watch it together now, right after I tell you her name on TikTok. Her name is Olivia Victoria, and her @ is @live_in LA. And this is her first pinned video.
No, because the way I read it, in la.
So you know how situationships often feel like your soulmate, or they feel a lot harder to get over than a long-term relationship? This is due to a lot of things, but I want to talk about dopamine and intermittent reinforcement. So intermittent reinforcement is when you don't get the reward every time you press the button, if you will. Continuous reinforcement, you press the button, you get the reward every time. Intermittent reinforcement, sometimes you press it and the reward comes out, and sometimes you press it and the reward doesn't come. So you keep pressing it because you want to know, like, am I going to get the reward this time? I think of dopamine very much like the gambling hormone. So intermittent reinforcement triggers more dopamine. Dopamine used to be thought of as a pleasure hormone. We now know that it's more of a motivation hormone. So when dopamine is released, it's released when we don't know the outcome. Dopamine is at its peak release when there's like a 50-50 chance of the pleasurable outcome occurring. And so it motivates us to keep doing this behavior, to keep gambling, to find out, am I going to win or not? And then we do win, and dopamine is further released to reinforce the behavior because that was pleasurable, and it motivates us to continue with the behavior. So a situationship dynamic where we don't know if we're going to hear from the person, maybe we will, maybe they won't, maybe they'll text us back, maybe not, maybe they'll ask us out, maybe not. That is exactly what triggers dopamine to be released. There's an uncertain outcome. We don't know what's going to happen. So dopamine is released to motivate us to continue focusing on it until we realize, are we going to hear from them? Are we not? And then we do hear from them and we're happy about it because we want to hear from them. And then basically dopamine is released further to reinforce our focus on that person and on that relationship. And unfortunately, continuous reinforcement, maybe like consistent communication from a partner, does not trigger dopamine like this. Dopamine is very linked to uncertainty. And so because of that, we start to, on a conscious level, think like, I feel so much stronger about this person that I only hear from intermittently than I do about this guy that texts me reliably. And that is not because they're our soulmate. And it is not because they are meant to be with us and they just haven't seen it yet. It is because our brain is responding to their intermittent behavior and releasing dopamine to motivate us to keep focusing on it. And unfortunately, this pathway was never intended to we were never this wasn't supposed to be a dating situation. This is like evolutionarily advantageous with regard to like seeking out food, for example. But now we're like using this to make us feel like we think that this relationship is our soulmate and this person is who we're supposed to be with because it feels so good because of the dopamine and the hormones and all the things, and it's not good and it's not healthy and we shouldn't stay in it, and we need to do a better job at focusing on the fact that that is our brain's response and it is not healthy. And in a relationship, reliability is important and communication should be the expectation. It should not feel like a reward, and all of that other stuff is reward system stuff, and that's not what should be in a relationship. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, basically, it makes a lot of sense because if you are just constantly wondering if you're going to get treated well by this guy, because for me, it wasn't so much like, oh, is he going to text me? Am I going to hear from him? It was more so like, are you going to act like you like me today or not?
Yeah, I was going to ask, so like, you very much resonated with this video.
I think so. Maybe not so. And how does that make you feel?
And this resonated? Yes.
Because I felt like it was like sometimes I would see him and he would put in all this effort, and sometimes it was like I was just kind of like there. I felt just kind of like I felt, weird about
like
being
a nuisance.
Like a bit of a burden or something. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense why it was like so emotional. Like the breakup, it was so emotionally intense. Everything about it was just so intense, like, because it was kind of like that gamble, and I didn't know what I was gonna get. But
so you're less attracted to him and more attracted to the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's been my entire literal life, dating life, girl. Yes.
In all
it's
cases.
been going. It goes super well. It works out for me every time. But yeah, I'm really over it. I think putting out the episode was so like, I am done. And, he heard it, so he knows that I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll probably listen to this. I'm done.
Do you think you play games? Like, did you play games with him? Or was it one-sided?
I didn't play games with him, but I was definitely strategic in everything I did because I was always cautious.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But, like, I was always pretty...
So what's the difference between being strategic and playing games?
Playing games, I think, is, like, moving differently than how you're feeling with an end goal in mind. Kind of like, oh, you know, I'm going to act like we're in a relationship when we're not, or you're trying to kind of, like... I don't want to say manipulate someone. That's an intense word.
Yeah.
But I think playing games is like you want to upset the person. Like you want to trigger a reaction out of them. You're doing it. Yeah. But being strategic, I was just like nervous. So everything I did, I was very cautious about. Speaking of exes and comments and how else can I roll this in?
You know what? I think it's rolling.
You think you like it?
It's rolling. Keep going.
So we posted a clip from our episode Creative Comma. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Maddie's talking about her TV debut.
Yeah.
And so we posted a clip on it.
You never said it was a TV show. I don't think you can say that.
Did we not?
TV debut.
I think we did. It's definitely in the description.
You said it was a role. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the description, it says TV debut.
But if we never said that in the app, that's crazy. I put it in the description.
I don't think we ever said it in the episode.
No, I think we did though. We said it was like acting and stuff, so I feel like at some point.
By the end, we were like, it was a show.
Yeah, like, I don't think we cared. And also, I don't care. They can know who it is for that one.
They know.
If he's gonna straight up use my name, like, I think I can,
True.
make a few mistakes along the line.
So, we posted the video, and Maddie's talking about how this guy pulls. If you didn't listen to the episode, here's a quick recap, but you should go listen to it. Quick recap, this guy pulled, and Maddie wanted to investigate it, so she checked it out, and basically, he would just get you to unveil all of your traumas to him, and then just kind of, I don't want to speak your truth,
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah,
he would just make you trauma dump by, like, kind of trauma dumping, and then you just are emotionally bonded.
Yeah, so this girl, on TikTok, once again, at Carlin Long, I believe.
Yeah.
With 2 G's on the end, commented on our TikTok and said, narcissistic tactic. They use fake vulnerability to get you to open up or love bomb, then use your vulnerability against you in the future. You tell him your abandonment issues and he'll always make you question where you stand and gaslight and then tell you that you're being paranoid because of your past traumas. Now, this is interesting because I think that love bomb gets thrown around so much.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I also think it's like a really cool word. Like, it could be a crazy song or something.
Yeah.
Love bomb.
It is a song.
You know?
Nessa Barrett has a song.
She should. On the same vibe.
But yeah, no, like I remember when things were going like well with Tim right at the start, and then we got into like a little bit of a tussle, and I was telling a girlfriend of mine, and she was like, well, he was love bombing you, and I was like, well, no, it was just going well, and then now it's not. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think it does get kind of like tossed around and thrown around, but that is same as gaslighting now about like, words get thrown around too much, but I do think that she has a point there, because it's like, why else does he need to know all of that about you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%. And also, it's just like, he's a smart guy, you know?
You know what's
like,
up.
It's like, you know what's up. I feel like that's applicable to so many guys I've talked to. Though, like, I wasn't even thinking about the guy we were talking about in the episode when I read that. I was like, actually...
Thinking of a couple others?
Yeah. Fuck. I was like, wait! Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. But yeah, so... I guess I just attract narcissists.
Yeah. That's tough.
It's because they can just see how fucked up I am.
Taylor Swift says, I never trust a narcissist, but they love me.
It's so true.
Which...
What does that say about me?
We don't victim shame.
I'm like, what does it
We
say
don't victim shame here.
about me? How do I trust my boyfriend? Is it insecurity or instinct? It's a great question. It's a crazy question, actually. When that came in the forum, I was like, that is so real. Because I don't know the answer to that. That's not an easy one. I had to think. And whenever you have to think when a question comes in,
it's a good one.
It's a good one.
You actually flipped it back to the listeners,
I did.
posted it on the story, and I've been really outsourcing for this episode. I'm really getting all of my citations in because I wanted to.
Even I did. Like, I'm citing articles and shit.
This is our essay that we made for you guys.
Let's gather some notes.
So
we said we're serious about the research thing this season.
So here is my citation at Madison H. Rose on TikTok. She had a really interesting little TikTok and take on this topic, and I'm actually kind of happy. We were supposed to record this a little while back, and we had camera problems and got way too drunk and didn't end up recording it, and I'm glad that we waited until now, because at that time, that's when I was going through the whole, like, Tim is taking space, I don't know where we are, blah, 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 bullshit. Hence why I was getting so drunk while we were trying to record. And so I'm happy we waited, because now I've, like, went through a little some I can relate a little bit more.
Yeah, fair.
But this is what I got from at Madison H. Rose on TikTok. Let's talk about insecurity first. So insecurity happens in the mind. It's very intense and it's fast. So racing, swirling, dramatic thoughts. It kind of triggers, something happens to trigger this. So like fight or flight, something that your partner does triggers these intense racing, swirling thoughts, and fear. And it's also kind of, constant. It's like you're obsessing over one particular thing that's going to happen, and you're constantly thinking that it's all the time, very anxious, producer Brianna says if it's hysterical, it's historical, meaning if you're not having like an appropriate reaction, it's probably a trigger from something that happened in the past. Would you say that's how
beautiful, Brianna.
Would you say that's like a decent explanation of it? Yeah. And so intuition is felt in your body, mainly in your stomach.
And intuition we're using interchangeably with instinct, right?
Yeah. Same thing. You feel it in your body, mainly in your stomach, like that gut feeling that people talk about. Oh, I got a gut feeling. Intuition is a current trigger. Something happens right now and you feel it in the moment. You're not concerned about your past. You're just consumed in what it is in this moment that is upsetting you. Intuition triggers your curiosity. So it's calm and quiet and constant. So so insecurity is every time your boyfriend goes out, you're constantly thinking that he's going to cheat on you. You can't fall asleep until he's home. You're just a mess. Your mind is racing. You're checking the Snapchats. You're checking to see who's in the background. Intuition is one day you wake up after he goes out with your friends and you're like, he fucking cheated on me. Yeah. He's not acting different. You just know.
It's primitive.
Yeah, and it's not like this super upsetting emotional thought like, insecurity. I'm just going to stick to my example because I feel like it's pretty universal. Every time your boyfriend goes out, you're an anxious fucking mess. That is constant. That is emotional. That is quote unquote dramatic. You know what I mean? But intuition, at least in my experience, when you just know something has happened, it's calm. You just want to know more. You just want to put the pieces together to prove that you're right. Yeah. Kind of. And it's much, much less emotional. Or it is for me anyway. But I don't know. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I have a fucking personality disorder. So all of my reactions could go either way. A little up, a little down. So
for me, I almost feel like when it's intuition or instinct, like I just already know. Like I'm like, oh no, that happened. It's like I'm almost not even really questioning because I'm like so convinced already.
Yeah, and I think to clarify, intuition is not so much like where were you last night, and they give you a bit of a dodgy answer and then you're like, well, I think they're lying to me.
No, that's like random.
It's evidence.
You have no reason.
It's evidence-less. Like, but you just
like in both cases we're talking about, it's evidence-less. Like if you're feeling insecure for no reason,
or it could be a previous relationship that's causing you to act that way. But basically, sorry guys, my voice is getting raspy.
No, dude, my voice...
It's late.
Yeah.
But I basically jotted down a couple of my thoughts on dealing with insecurity in a relationship, because that is so common. Mostly because before you gotta like get in a serious relationship, you go through these situationships where people like really get your trust and like really get you to like trust them and make you think that they really like you, and then they just like totally 180 on you, and it can be very traumatizing, as I know. So dealing with insecurity in a relationship, the number one thing I believe is just stop automatically assuming that they're always cheating on you, which is kind of the default when you're an insecure person, much like myself when it comes to relationships. It's a lot easier said than done, but I don't know. What my mom always told me in high school was, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. And did I ever? But up until that point, it was
She
like,
was for real about
you
it.
have it until you don't.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always approached relationships. You know what I mean? So there's that. And a big one is taking stock of what you bring to the table. So what are you providing in this relationship? Hard to think of examples because I'm not in a relationship, but you know, what do you benefit? What do you bring to your partner?
We put out the question on Instagram: instinct versus insecurity. What is the difference? How do you tell the difference between insecurity and instinct? And this is what our listener said. And now I'm not going to say who said them, just because I don't want to give away any personal information. This could be a personal answer, you don't know. So one person said, I think if they've never given you a reason to not trust them before, then it's insecurity from past things. But if they've proven to be sketchy before and you're feeling some way, then it's instinct. Okay.
That's fair enough.
That's fair. I think that's fair. And then...
Ooh, I like this one. Somebody said insecurity feels like fear. Instinct feels like strength.
Yeah.
That is really good.
That is a good one.
Because you know what? I had my own little moment of intuition one time when I heard a story about an ex of mine potentially crossing some lines with somebody else. And I had heard shit in the past and that had turned out, not to be true or to be exaggerated. But this one in particular, I just, for some reason, knew it was true. It was not emotional. I wasn't freaked out about it. I wasn't, like, calling his phone 600 times and being like, where the fuck are you?
Yeah, you just know.
I was super calm, super zen about it, and was just like, I just know this happened. And I was also I kind of fucking hated my boyfriend at that point because he was pissing me off. But, like, I was just very calm about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it's like the eye of a storm.
It's all just going on around you.
Yeah.
You're just looking around.
You're just seeing all the chaos unfolds. I don't know. Someone else said, people always say trust your gut, which is true to an extent, but don't convince yourself something is going on when you have no proof. It's going to hurt your relationship in the long run. Focus on what your partner is actually doing, how they're acting, not about how you feel about yourself.
Fabulous answer.
Beautiful answer.
We have one here. Now, this person who sent in this question is getting the special treatment. We are like hella outsourcing for this answer, which is probably good because we're crazy as fuck. You should never listen to our answers. But I like what this person said, and this person is very wise. They said actual actions and patterns, not just them having an off day and spiraling. With that, people are allowed to have off days, and its patterns are sometimes good to watch out for, good or bad.
Beautiful.
Well, this one said, I thought I was insecure, but my boyfriend of 3 years was actually cheating on me, so maybe trust your gut. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it is just such a fine line. And I feel like it might even be different. I'm like, how to tell if someone else, like, how do you tell if you're insecure personally? If you're being insecure?
If you're being insecure. If you're always stressed, if you're always worried, if you're so worried about them hurting you. And here's the thing. I was there, bitch. I was in the trenches of that. I was struggling. But something, and I know that I'm only 22 years old, but honestly, I feel like I've probably had way too much relationship experience at this point, so I've kind of like matured a little bit and gotten a little bit further with it, because this is way harder said than done. But like, if somebody's going to hurt you, you should just let them. Like, you should just let them.
That was a crazy take. I just did not know where you were going with that.
Because it's going to hurt and you're going to get hurt, and maybe I'm just like this. I'm totally rogue right now. Like, I am fresh off this situationship breakup. Like, who knows? These takes are a little bit wild, but just let someone fucking hurt you, because then at the end of the day, you're going to get over it. You're going to move on, and you're not going to be with the wrong person. It's just, I just feel like it's so exhausting. Constantly stressing yourself over somebody else. And it's fair if you're insecure within yourself and it has nothing to do with your partner, then you can work on your relationship. But if you're insecure because you, like I said, like that TikTok where you're trying to always get a reward, you're not always getting it, or you're pressing that button and your partner's not always giving you the best treatment, the best response, the best attention that you deserve, then it's going to create intense insecurity as well within you and constantly be chasing after them. So I feel like at the end of the day, just like let them hurt you,
Well, yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things, like that's always been my opinion on it. Like, just kind of view things for what they are.
Don't fight them on how they feel.
And I think a lot of people agree with that, because it's like, just from their answers, like I think one of the best things you can do is to just like let things happen and roll with it, feel what you're feeling, and once you're done feeling it, you'll just be done feeling it. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're done, you're done.
Once you're done, you're done. I know it sounds like very simplified, and I guess it kind of is, but I honestly do think it is that simple. Like,
Yeah. I guess we're not sitting here with boyfriends of 6 years and whatever, but so it's a little easier for us to be like, just let them hurt you and just move on and get over it. But even though it is harder,
I'm not even saying like move on right away. Like, I'm literally saying like be sad for as long as you need.
Well, so I think where I'm kind of coming from this, and I've talked about this relationship on the podcast before, but a really good friend of mine was in this horrible, horrible relationship for years. Like, everyone thought they were going to get married. Like, they were, they were on track to do all the things. But he actually really sucked. And he broke up with her. And it was the best thing he could have ever done for her, because she was losing herself in the insecurity and the constant chasing of trying to mold this relationship into what she wanted it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I just think you can't change people. You can't change situations, and
can't control other people's feelings. You can only control how you react
and your reactions. I was gonna say, life is just really you just reacting to things happening.
I know.
That's all it is.
That's what I was told so much as a kid, but needed to be drilled into my brain over and over and over again. Wow, our voices are raspy this episode. It's because we went out last weekend. These crazy little party girls, us.
We're old. We go out once, and we're out for the week.
Yeah, I went home at
I'm like, my voice is gone. I can't do my job and the podcast.
I went home at like 11, though. I was not out that late. I don't really have an excuse. My excuse is that it's late right now, and I work a 9 to 5, and I'm tired.
Literally so sorry, guys, about the camera issues. This app, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I'm such a good editor that you have no clue that the camera died like 300 times while trying to record this. But thank you for listening. And if you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things.
Leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Rate and review.
Gives us motivation for nights like this when the camera dies 400 fucking times and you're losing your voice brutal. And you're just trying to make it through.
We're actually going to read a review that somebody left us. This is Brianna's idea. She said we should.
This is going to give me the motivation I need to get through the rest of this evening.
This is what we need. So
give it to me.
Shout out to our most recent. Shut up. Our most recent one's Monday. Yeah, it was. So none of us have read this yet. Okay, so this is a review by Chloe Buggy. 5 stars. It is good. Not Brianna, I hope it's good. I literally can't listen to any other podcast. I absolutely love you girls. Ever since I've started listening last year, I have not been able to enjoy any other podcast. Thank God we're back for season 3.
Aww,
Chloe,
thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet. Please give your love to us because we like to read it. And also, yeah, that's just really nice. That's sweet. And we'll read your we'll read your thing on air. How cool is that? Wow.
Have a fabulous rest of your week. We will see you back here next Sunday. Talk soon.